think about a party, I think of a good time that will never involve an explosion. But in this case, this was a gender reveal party with an explosion to reveal the gender. And as you can probably imagine, something went wrong. Now, I have to say that for this review, I have to start with this. I really love Heather Gudenkauf writing, but I'm going to share what the book is about, and I'm going to share why this book wasn't for me, even though it's a good book. So it's kind of confusing, but bear with me. It's going to make sense at the end. Now, this is a story of Madeline and West Drake, who are going to have a gender reveal party. Now, they live in this ranch. They're very wealthy. It's a horse ranch with hundreds of acres and open land that they own. And they decided to invite, I think, 200 or 300 people for this gender reveal party, where they're going to shoot this truck and they're going to get the color, whether it's pink or blue, and find out the gender of the baby. Now, something goes wrong with the explosion, somebody dies, people end up in the hospital, and what it was supposed to be a good time ended up being a big tragedy. And now a lot of people are in the hospital fighting for their lives, and there is a big mystery of what really happened, because in the end, they got two different explosions. We're also going to meet Agent Jamie Saldano, I think it's his name, and he is going to be investigating. He's an explosive expert, and he's going to be investigating what happened at the party. But also, he used to live in that town. He knows Wes, and he's investigating what happened to his sister in that small town all at the same time. Now, I have to say that the idea of this book sounds extremely interesting to me, and that's why I requested to read an early copy of it through NetGalley. But once I started to read the beginning of the book, I started to realize that it has one of the things I don't enjoy in books, and this is rich people drama. I do not care for it. I do not care for authors to tell me how much money they spent and how fancy they are, and all those things to me really take away from the mystery itself. And I know that for some people that is really enticing and it may draw you to the book. And the twist at the end, who really is the monster behind all of it, it will surprise you, because it will take you through a bunch of twists and turns and where people look suspicious and different. But I didn't care enough to try to come up with my own theories. I felt like these characters are not somebody that I would be friends with, or I would hang out with, or I would ever relate to. So it was hard for me to understand their perspective from where they're standing, which is money and power, and what really is important to them may not be really important to me, so it's hard to connect with that. However, the book is really smart. It ends with something I don't like. It's one of those tropes that when it's used as a twist, I don't really enjoy, but this is something personal preference that may surprise you. And as you get to know these characters, you start to suspect that something else is happening. But when it's revealed, it's like, oh, now it makes sense. You know, it kind of ties everything together. The writing was great. The characters were written really well. So it was kind of like, I'm interested because I like how you write, but I'm not interested because I really don't like these people. And I feel like one of the things that I really enjoyed before from Heather Gudenkauf is that she writes, I think most of her books are set in Iowa, and it's either in a really hot summer day or it's really wintry and snowy, and I think that adds to the atmosphere. And it's also that most of the people that she used to write about were normal people who were either farmers or somebody that lived in a small town, or somebody that was, you know, an author. It was another book that I really enjoyed that she wrote. So I feel like I gotten used to her writing these characters and these people that I can care more about. And it's not like if you're rich, I don't care about you. It's just the kind of problems that they have are something that I'm not interested as much as I'm interested in a mother missing a child, or that disappear from the house and now they don't know where it is and it's really where she is, and it's really hot, and the father is, it's just a combination of things that really get my brain to think. And I think that's what I really enjoy about her books. It really makes me think and come up with my own theories. And I guess in this one, I just didn't care enough. So even though the story was good and I thought the plot was interesting and I thought the twists were great, it was just something that it's not my favorite thing in a thriller. I really didn't care for the little subplot of the agent trying to find out about his sister. That I do have to say. I felt like it wasn't, the characters were not developed enough that I gave any importance to that part of the book. By the way, the audiobook, I got it after I got the ebook. So I finished it in audio, and the audio is amazing. So if you really enjoy audiobooks, you're really gonna love it. And it made it a lot more interesting to me, even though it were covering some of the details and things that I don't care about. Now you're probably thinking, why did you request a book that is about rich people drama? And the answer is, when I have a favorite author, I read anything that they write. Anything. Even if they change genres and stuff, because I believe that a big part of what I enjoy in a book is the writing. And if the writing is good, I can read about pretty much anything, and I can be interested in pretty much anything that you write. So because I do love her writing, I wanted to read this book. But unfortunately, even though it was good writing and I did finish the book, it wasn't about something that still she got me interested enough to change my mind about that. And one of the cases, or one of the authors that can do that, like Frederick Bachman, can do Beartown, which is a really serious book. And then The Answer is No, which is another one of my favorite books by Frederick Bachman. And that's a completely ridiculous, funny book that I read every once in a while because I really have the best time reading it, and it makes me laugh every single time. So I don't look for an author for a specific genre. Is if your writing really clicks in my brain, I will read anything that you write and I'll probably enjoy all of it. But in this particular book wasn't the case. However, I'm glad I read it, so now you know, and you can decide for yourself if this is something that you want to read.